All right, let's get started. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome. Hi. Hope your Sunday was lovely. Hold on. Hi. There I am. I pushed my stool too far in. What? I hope you had a great weekend. Those of you that had one, some of us don't necessarily. I think even have. I mean, the French word for weekend is le weekend, and it's because I think they used to take Tuesdays and Wednesdays off, or Wednesday and Thursday, so the week never ended. They just had a break at some point, and so they didn't. Anyway, so I, as somebody who usually works, especially doing stand up, sort of Thursday to Sunday as a primary work week when I'm touring, for example, I don't really experience the weekend the way most people do. But since I've started doing this show, it's the closest thing to that experience I've ever had in my life. Starting, Saturday after my show till now, that I basically I have a day and a half to cram the rest of life into. Thanks, AI. My hair's laying a little flat today, but somebody sent me a picture of Steve Perry saying that the length of my hair was getting pretty close to that, and I think it is. So I decided to take it was because I'd had it in ponytail for so long because I was working, and to get the kind of like ponytail ruffle out of it, I had to go with it after it with a straight iron, and I think it worked out. It's good, It's not as fluffy as as I normally like it, but it's pretty good. I was a critical worker. Yeah, so no breaks. That's exactly right, Olga. By the way, welcome everybody. Settle in. I hope you have some sort of a beverage. I have coffee this morning, murky coffee, with a splash of oat milk in it. And what the hard part about oat milk is finding the nipples on the oat itself. It's a complicated process. And the machinery is incredibly intricate. It's made in Switzerland, and then they have to. It's designed by like people in Silicon Valley with who have like these really like Terry Gilliam kind of glasses on all the time. It's rough. So there we go. This there's a lot going on, by the way. Shall we jump straight in and look at our trends? I know there's a bunch to cover. This, of course, is your Twitter trends for the morning. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our trendages. Just pretend I have a graphic here. Trending. Hashtag trending. Also, like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, and say hi. And, because the morning show is separate from what I do in the afternoon. If you like it or prefer it or hate it or whatever, let me know, because apparently it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you say something, the algorithm doesn't care. It really doesn't. So Emmanuel Macron loses absolute majority in legislative elections. This is being blown out of all proportion, by the way. Like, they don't normally have an absolute majority. And it's France. I don't care. Franklin Graham. This is probably, without even clicking on it, related to that story that he convinced a woman to go back to her abusive husband or something like that. Is that the... Yeah, that is. Yeah. Pushed a domestic abuse victim to return to her husband. He asked whether she was cheating on her husband. It was a good question to ask, Graham told me. I would have asked it again. How Franklin... Yeah, right. This is... Yeah. So this is the story about it. According to Graham... lovely man, very, very Christian. Oh goodness. My trainer has COVID, so I'm going to have to go to the regular gym tomorrow. Good times. That just came up on my watch. According to the recording, she'll be fine. She's vaccinated. She'll be fine. Said the marriage could be fixed easily. And he seemed to dismiss the severity of her abuse. I'm not here to defend him by him calling you bad names, yelling at you, whatever. Beating me, Panahi interjected. Graham told her that abuse is a gray area, that an abusive husband was someone who, quote, comes home and he takes a 6-pack of beer and he jumps off the chair because the kids are making noise and beats his wife and beats the kids. And that's something that goes on almost every day. And that was not her situation, Graham told her, because he felt an abusive husband was someone who stomped on his wife every night. Good fucking Lord. So if you space it out, it's not abuse. If it's just verbal abuse for months and then the beatings are like quarterly, you don't qualify. Like it's like a domestic violence bureaucracy he's setting up. Oh, she didn't give it to me. She got it since I haven't it's been since Thursday, and I haven't had it. So, which is kind of the strange thing. Like I've still never gotten COVID. I mean, I'm vaccinated, so, but even still, like you can catch it and not have, but I don't have antibodies from catching it. It's very strange. Father's Day is when your entire family takes you out for a huge Father's Day dinner and you pay for it. LOL. Iced tea. I got donuts. I did. I got donuts for Father's Day. That was lovely. A box of donuts. I don't really eat that many donuts, so it was a good reprieve. But the box is nice. Hold on. You guys want to see the box? Hold on. I'll race and get it. Talk amongst yourselves. Ta-da! I got a world's greatest dad. I can hear them sliding around in there. Box of donuts. Dig in, guys. I'll just set them right here. They're of an extraordinary diversity of donuts as well. There's a lot of them left over. There's a plain one in the back. And it's funny because I like plain cake donuts, but Pink Box is known for these like big crazy donuts. And let's be honest, it's really more about the house than it is about me. The donuts. So it looks like one of my characters, the big pink turd with the mustache, right? That's supposed to be icing. Pinky, the Pink Box thing. No fair. Feel like they're just out of reach. They are. Cop biscuits, right? Surly Cupcakes cousin. Yeah. So I like if I ever have a donut, plain cake donut or chocolate covered plain cake donut. That's it. Those are my two kind of go-tos. If I'm choosing, and I don't often, but when I do, I don't often have donuts, but when I do, it's always something special, But that was, a Bavarian cream, please. I don't think we have those. Can you order those for delivery? Yes, you can, Luis. They were delivered to the house. You don't think anybody in my house went out and got them for me, did you? No. I'm the person who ventures out into the dangers of the world. Let's be abundantly clear. All right. In related disgusting news, the Texas GOP has approved an official platform at their convention over the weekend, declaring that Joe Biden was not legitimately elected, advancing anti-LGBTQ rhetoric, and proposing abolishing the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Now, I'm guessing. Let's see. As the U.S. looks ahead to the 20 false claims of despite the election, Joe Biden won. AP fact check. How do we know? Okay. Unfounded claims. Where's their actual platform? Oh, there is no evidence of. Where's the Texas GOP platform? Texas adopts measure declaring Biden was not legitimately elected. There it is. The Texas adopted a 40-page platform at its biennial. This is adorable. Here it is. That's the whole thing. Let's see. Preamble. Affirming our belief in God, we still hold these truths to be self-evident. Still, after all these, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, inalienable even if you want to. All right. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Throughout the world, people dare to dream of freedom and opportunity. The Republican Party of Texas unequivocally defends that dream. We strive to preserve the freedom given to us by God, implemented by our founding fathers, and embodied in the Constitution. We recognize human nature is immutable. Human nature is immutable? We further recognize... You mean sinful? Like, we're all born with original sin, or none of us can turn into a bat. We further recognize that the traditional family is the strength of our nation. It is our, so basically, the GOP is going to put down any adopted children. Because that's not a tradition. Traditionally, if children lost their parents, they would not be adopted by anyone else. They would be consumed as food, I think. Through most of human history. It is our solemn duty to protect innocent life and develop responsible citizens. Okay. Yes on one, no on two, apparently. We understand that our economic success depends upon free market principles, which include, I guess, nationalizing oil and making the government force production. If we fail to maintain our sovereignty, we risk losing the freedom to live these ideals. Laws of nature and nature's God. What? The laws of nature and nature's God, and we support the strict adherence to the original language and intent of the Declaration of Independence. Constitution. Okay, so 3/5 of a person, savages, women can't vote, only landowners can vote. Okay, yeah. Well, that's what makes them Republicans. They believe in the electoral college as the primary voting point of the country, whereas Democrats believe in one person, one vote, that it's the popular vote that is meaningful instead of a combination of the two. The Republicans have sided with chunks of land deserve a vote. The sanctity of innocent human life. Notice that clarification, because they still want the death penalty. So obviously not the sanctity of human life. And by the way, since everyone is born or created sinful in the eyes of God, there is no innocent human life. If you're citing the Bible as the primary thing, we're all basically evil from birth, or I guess conception. Whenever your life begins, that's when you start being evil. Created in the image of God, but it was shortly after, I guess, putting on a diaper. We're created in the image of God, so God looks like a shrimp with an umbilical cord, all right, which should be equally protected from fertilization and natural death. All right, well then I think no guns. If you're going to outlaw abortion, you should outlaw guns, because isn't a gun just an abortion machine to natural death? That's unless you're saying that being shot is a natural death. I have a friend who died of natural causes. He got shot and naturally he died. Preserving individual Texan and American sovereignty and freedom. Oh, I see. Texas has got its own secessionist vision of itself. Limiting government power to those items enumerated in the United States and Texas constitutions. All right, well. Personal accountability and responsibility. Oh, you mean for your own electrical grid? Your own citizens freezing to death? Self-sufficient families, that's just anti-welfare language, with parents having the freedom of choice for education of their children. They do, I suppose. They can pay for private school, and if they can't afford private school, they can choose to either homeschool or send their kids to public school. The inalienable right of all people to defend themselves and their property. Oh, okay, so let's say someone is threatening your life. You'll die if they, it's you or them, and that person is in your womb and attached to the lining of your uterus via an abnormal skin grafting, and they will kill you by being born, and they will not survive because their lungs are outside their body. You have the right to defend yourself against said person. Right. self-sufficient, okay, having shown the inalienable right of the people to defend themselves in their property, a free enterprise society unencumbered by government interference or subsidies. Oh, so overrun by cartels. Okay, gotcha. Or subsidies. All right. Well, that's easy. Right there. I mean, let's just settle that right now. No subsidies for any industry that takes place in Texas. Done and done, I think, right? Yeah. I'm sure every business owner, all the oil companies that operate in there don't want any government assistance, support, any loan guarantees, none of that. All right, cool. Honoring all of those who serve and protect our freedom. Okay. I mean, are we including Timothy McVeigh in this or whatever? Is there a line? Is there a Mike Flynn line that we can actually have? Or just once you serve, you're allowed to do whatever? Or do you mean showing up at the dignified transfers of people who've been killed over? Because Trump only went to 4 of the 96 that happened while he was president. Keep oath to the Constitution. Okay, so not charging up the steps and murdering people. Okay, good start. Preservation of constitutional republic, right? Keep the electoral college alive so that you can outvote human beings in your own country. Enforce the Constitution, Article 4, Section 4. Sovereignty of the state requires the protections afforded Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution. Any failing thereof, authorize the governor of the state or legislature to declare an invasion, which shall be met with the full force of the state. Oh, okay. So if FEMA comes in to help you, and the governor was washed away in a flood personally, and everybody's clamoring for help, since the governor or the legislature can't ask, you're just going to open fire on FEMA workers? No foreign law. No foreign law. That would be Sharia, probably, is what they're worried about there. No foreign law, contract, or judgment arising from any foreign state whose laws violate fundamental constitutional rights shall be honored or enforced by any Texas court. Yeah, they're talking about Sharia law. Judicial overreach. Oh, okay. So, Ginny Thomas, they have your number. Limiting the power of the Supreme Court. Judges don't define the roles of judges. What? Section 3 defines the roles of judges. Oh, that's within the Supreme Court of Texas, I'm guessing. Legislating exceptions and creating regulations to limit the cases for which the Supreme Court has jurisdiction. Yeah, just narrowing the scope of what the court can do there. Doesn't matter. They're part of the federal system anyways. It'll get bounced up if they ignore it. Amendments to the U.S. Constitution. We support term limits of 12 years for federal and state offices. Okay, these are just things that they would support. Oppose packing or enlarging the United States Supreme Court and supports the Keep 9 Amendment as filed with you. Yeah, you think? Because it artificially helps you. Why don't we just have one per circuit? Seems all right. And then you can argue about expanding or contracting the circuit each time. Support repeal of the 16th Amendment and whatever, first in, last out. People are age retired on the Supreme Court based on if they ever contract it. Let's say there's a population drop and they end up going from 13 circuits back to 12 circuits. Then you can shave one off, but it's the oldest person on the thing. I mean, I think most people would argue that's all right. Support repeal of the 16th Amendment, the federal income tax. Yeah, all the things that keep Texas from being overrun by cartels. Support restoring state sovereignty with the repeal of the 17th Amendment of the United States Constitution, the appointment of United States senators by the state legislatures. Yeah, you don't want to have to vote on your senators. The state legislators will pick who your senators are. That's not a recipe for graft or anything. Support a change to the 14th Amendment to eliminate birth tourism or anchor babies by granting citizenship only to those with at least one biological parent who is a U.S. citizen. Yes, Trump Tower Miami would like a word. They're doing brisk business with Russian wives. Support a constitutional amendment amendment making English the official language of the United States and one of no more than 2 official languages of all U.S. territories and other possessions. So if so Guam has to start speaking English or Spanish. Is that what we're doing? Both of which European languages, for the record. For everybody who's like Mexican heritage, therefore Spanish also, no, they're both European languages that equal to each other in their Europeanness. Sorry. They just are. Nobody's talking about making Nahuatl the official, or Waxacan or whatever the official language of Mexico. And when they are, then we'll talk about the expansion of it. I mean, yeah. Texas the irony is Texas is a bilingual state. They're scared by that idea. Limiting overreaching state government. We recognize the sovereignty of this state and its citizen. You don't have sovereignty. It's not the sovereign state of Texas. I don't know what Texas Code 418 is. Let's find out. This is good stuff. We're all learning Texas Code 418. Government Code Chapter. Oh, okay. Law enforcement and public protection. Oh, you mean the emergency management general provisions? Let's see. Here's 418. This the Disaster Act of 1975. This is the one that allowed for mail-in voting and all that kind of stuff because it gave everybody the ability to, in the case of an emergency, change the voting laws so that people could, this jackass, so that people could vote in emergency. Yeah, reduce vulnerability of people and communities in the state to damage, injury, loss of life, property, judgment, natural, man-made catastrophes, riots, or hostile military or paramilitary action. Yeah, natural catastrophe would be a disease. Prepare for prompt and efficient rescue, care, and treatment of persons victimized or threatened by disaster. I can understand why they'd want to get rid of that. The Republicans of Texas want to get rid of providing a setting conducive to the rapid and orderly restoration and rehabilitation of persons and property affected by disaster. Yeah. What kind of Jesus-y bullshit is that? Clarify and strengthen the roles of government, state agencies, the judicial branch of state government, local governments in prevention or preparation for, response to, and recovery from disasters. Yeah, get rid of that. That's nuts. Authorize and provide for cooperation in disaster mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. Yeah, it's got cooperation in it. That's basically communism, so you want to get rid of that. Authorize and provide for coordination of activities relating to disaster mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery by agencies and officers of this state and similar state, local, interstate, federal, state, and foreign activities in which the state and its political subdivisions may participate, meaning their business with Mexico. Provide an emergency management system embodying all aspects of pre-disaster preparedness and post-disaster response. Yeah, fuck that. I mean, look, here's how you know there's an emergency in Texas. If Ted Cruz it magically just gets on a flight to Mexico, shit's about to hit the fan. I mean, that's you know you're in an emergency if Ted Cruz is on vacation. That's how you know. Assist in mitigation of disasters. And by the way, Lee, thank you for becoming a member. And P. Matta, thanks for resubscribing. Puves, thanks to you for resubscribing. Bill P, thanks for becoming a member. Don't forget to like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, all that kind of stuff. Assist and mitigate. Okay, encourage state agencies. That's exhausting. I mean, encouraging in general. So, state agencies, local governments, non-governmental organizations, private entities, and individuals to adopt the goals of a strategic plan of the Federal Emergency Management Agency for preparing for, responding to, and recovering from a disaster that emphasize cooperation among federal agencies, state agencies, local governments, non-governmental organizations, private entities, and individuals in each activity or project undertaken to ensure that this rate is prepared to effectively respond to and recover from a disaster. Sorry, Texas, you're on your own. That's all. Provide the authority and mechanism to respond to an energy emergency. Oh, well, that's the part that sucks right now. Now they got to try and keep their electrical grid from taking a shit. Limitations. They don't want to get rid of the limitations. Limit the governor's authority to apply for, administer, or expand any grant, gift, or payment in aid of disaster mitigation preparedness. So they don't want to limit his ability to grant that. So they want to get rid of any limitations the governor would have on handing out money. Interfere with the course of or conduct a labor dispute, except that actions otherwise authorized by this chapter or other laws may be taken when necessary to forestall or mitigate imminent or existing danger to public health or safety. If he wants to fire the air traffic controllers like Reagan did. Interfere with dissemination of news or comment on public affairs. But any communications facility, by any? Interfere, okay, limitations. This chapter does not interfere with dissemination of news it doesn't limit. All right, this chapter does not do these things. All right, so they don't want to limit in any way his ability to do this. Okay, good. Definitions in this chapter. Disaster, I'm glad they defined that. Disaster means the occurrence of imminent threat, widespread or severe damage, injury, or loss of life or property resulting from any natural or man-made cause, including fire, flood, earthquake, wind, storm, wave action, oil spill, or other water contamination, volcanic activity, epidemic, whoops, there we go. That's the part they want to scrub. Air contamination, blight, drought, infestation, explosion, riot, hostile military or paramilitary action. Obviously, if you want to raid Texas, when this is all done, the GOP there is all in for you. Extreme heat, cybersecurity event. If Facebook goes down, obviously they want to be able to have an armed response. Other public calamity requiring emergency action or energy emergency. Again, you can tell when that is when Ted Cruz leaves the state. Organized volunteer group. These are the, okay. 418 emergency management. Okay, this is no training. No, like they just want to get rid of the entire Emergency Management Act. And yeah, no form of government shall ever again implement mass lockdowns on the people or business and our churches. No form of government. So local mayors can't do this because the federal government didn't do it. Everything was a recommendation. It was all about zoning. We oppose funding or implementation of any form of contact tracing. And if you do try to do that, we will let you know via tweets from our cell phones. But we're going to buy Huawei phones because we don't trust Apple. Right. The state all right. Anyways, these jackasses, this is just a pile of crap. Good job, guys. This is we never got to the national, here it is, national popular. The National Popular Vote Interstate Compact is a direct violation of Article 1. Yeah, they're against the national popular vote. You think? Because they can't team up with tiny red states to, bully everybody. Recall election. We support the right to recall our elected. Of course you do. Habeas corpus, right? Census. In accordance with the United States Constitution, we support an actual count of only of United States citizens, and we oppose Census Bureau estimates and the collection of all other data. All other data. All right, well, except, of course, to corporations when we fill out forms and don't even look at the terms of service and click OK and just start buying shit like ammo on Amazon. They should call it Amazon. And again, the Constitution says you're supposed to count every living person in the United States. You just make a distinction between, you can make a distinction, I guess, between here legally and illegally, but you're supposed to count them. You're supposed to. The ERA, we call upon the 88th Texas Legislature to adopt a resolution clarifying that the 1972 ratification of the 62 Texas Legislature of the proposed Equal Rights Amendment of the United States Constitution was valid only through March 22nd, 1979. This is them trying to make sure that if you want to start the Equal Rights Amendment fight right now, you got to start from scratch. You can't count the states that have already said okay to it and eventually get an amendment through because you're chipping away at it. You have a narrow window and you can't just stack states over time. If a state says yes, everybody has to say it all at once. The right to keep and arm bears. Repeal and or nullify the National Firearms Act of 1934 and the Gun Control Act of 1968. Yeah, they're against any and all background checks or any laws around it. Which, by the way, that would be unconstitutional to not have those laws. Technically speaking, not having a well-regulated militia violates the Constitution. So keeping track of who has guns and where they are and how many you have is actually in the Constitution. Sorry, you're in violation of the law if you don't register your guns. If you're going to be a constitutional purist, anyways. Prayer, Bible, and 10 Commandments in schools. Well, obviously, you're cool with violating the Constitution there. We support prayer, the Bible, and the 10 Commandments being returned to our schools, courthouses, and other government buildings. Yeah, it's just... it's basically a QAnon wish list at this point. gibberish. But ultimately, you know, they at least they're saying who they are, right? No, they're not mincing words. COVID news and updates. This is always in my thing. Let's check it in. Let's see what's happening. This page is timeline of tweets. There we go. California is ready to be vaccinated. 400,000 doses pre-order. Okay, there we go. Since the start of pandemic, Loaves and Fishes has seen a 300% increase in the demand for food and services. With a new Culinary Institute, Loaves and Fishes will double their capacity. Okay, this is like a charity for food needs. This is Juneteenth thing on vaccination. A lawn in the Sacramento area soak up an average of 45,000 gallons a year, but when the state Water Resources Control Board imposed a new round of drought restrictions last month, targeted much narrower slice of water usage. How is this in COVID-19 news and updates? I guess it's just California, and they just kind of lumped it all together. California's pre-ordered 400,000 doses of the COVID-19 for kid vaccine for under fives. Okay, cool. Latest about the war in Ukraine. Obviously, there's a bunch of stuff going on here. This a minute ago. And by the way, Philip is fine. He sent me a message early this morning. There was bombs dropped in Odessa, but he was not near them. He's fine. There were no deaths attributed to those explosions so far, but he certainly wasn't near where they'd be hitting. The invaders failed to break through two settlements, Myrna and Dolina and Bilahora, located about 20 kilometers south of the strategically important city of Severodonetsk. Yeah, this is one of the big... I don't know why Russia is pinning all their hopes on Severodonetsk. It's, I guess, the biggest city west of the cities they already have, that they have any shot at holding for any amount of time so that they can declare that they've won. I'll show you some maps in a minute of what's going on over there. Biden says he's not likely to visit Ukraine on an upcoming Europe trip. I wouldn't recommend it. Lithuania following EU sanctions with Kaliningrad rail transport block. Yeah, that was fascinating too. So Kaliningrad, for those of you who don't know, it's a little satellite Soviet island. And they're right on the water. Well, let's see if I can pull up a map. Yeah. They even call it Kaliningrad Oblast because it's a state. Okay. So this is, let me size this down for you guys, or size it up, I suppose. Right here. So this Latvia and Lithuania, Estonia. Here's Russia. There's Finland up there. Here's Kaliningrad, which is considered Russia, if you'll notice that right there. They call it Kaliningrad Oblast, which means state, essentially. It borders Poland and Lithuania. They get some of the idea was that they could boat stuff way up here, or they could rail it through here, through Lithuania and Latvia into Russia, whatever the goods they were putting together, anything they didn't try to sell elsewhere. Now they cannot. Lithuania is blocking their transport across the state because of Russia's illegal actions in Ukraine, which is down here. And so their only real choice is to boat stuff up around here up to St. Petersburg. So on Monday, it's ban on rail transit for EU-sanctioned goods through Russia's enclave of Kaliningrad is in line with European sanctions after Moscow slammed the move and vowed a response. I mean, they're gonna slam the move and vow a response on everything. They've been slow on the uptake of this, I would say, but it's good that they're doing. Obviously, we expect Russia to intensify hostile activity this week. We are preparing. We are ready. They are. And more stuff is coming. The Europeans just gave them a bunch of stuff to help fight until the American gear arrives, which will be like the first week of August. Russia blocking Ukraine grain exports a real war crime. EU's Borrell. Yeah, well, that's I agree, because effectively this is starvation as a weapon. What they're trying to do is starve other people so the West buckles, because they can blame that starvation on us supporting Ukraine, which is fucking bananas. Russia must be held accountable if it keeps blocking grain exports. EU foreign policy. This is the same one. Joseph Borrell tells foreign ministers, one cannot imagine that millions of tons of wheat remain blocked while in the rest of the world people are suffering hunger. By the way, the Canadians, I posted this yesterday, but the Canadian wheat harvest is supposed to be up 6%, and therefore it might make up for a lot of the lost grain. The biggest problem with Ukraine's grain harvest will be next year because of the destroyed lands and the damage done by troops on purpose, basically, soiling the land so that, it would kill 1 to 2 years worth of crops so they could, kneecap them. The overall, the removal of Ukrainian wheat and some of the Russian wheat that's coming out of there, because of where they're sending it, they're sending mostly to China and India now, would lower world wheat output 0.7%, which, in a just-in-time kind of concept is a lot, but it's not something that's insurmountable. The winter wheat harvest in the United States was lower than expected, but the spring wheat harvest is expected to be bigger, as is Canada's. So it's balancing. But the idea is that it's slightly ahead enough to produce, the difference to some degree. And again, one of the reasons why Europe gets so much of its wheat from Ukraine and from Russia is because it's there. It's not normal to have to ship it from all over the place. And the Chinese, the idea that the Chinese have stored 1.5 years worth of grain and they're getting ready for an attack on Taiwan and they've got plenty of foodstuffs for the future is nonsense. It's rotting in silos. It's a garbage argument, and that's not including the stuff that's been sold and resold. Like, it's just goofy. Like, anybody who even talks about that system like it's functioning these days is a lunatic. But there you go. So we also had he predicted Russia will escalate its attacks this week as European Union leaders consider whether to back his country's bid to join the bloc, and Russia presses its campaign to win control of East Ukraine. Yeah, the other argument they've been making is, that they can solidify the ownership of that area, that the entire Donbass is now their region. They can just declare it Russia, like anybody's going to buy that shit. And including, and then they're going to have these referendums in Luhansk and Donetsk, autonomous regions. They're going to have a vote to just join Russia. Like, nobody could fucking see that coming. Just garbage. Fastest growing refugee crisis. That's because it's a singular spike in the number of people, but they're also going to nearby countries and they're planning on going home. They're also, had a big bounce back as well. So hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians have been forcibly removed and pressured to take Russian citizenship. New York Times en route traveled to Estonia to speak to Ukrainian refugees who survived the siege of Mariupol and were forced to resettle in Russia. Yeah, a lot of them have been bugging out because there's just nobody to guard them. Yeah, and this is Russian colonization of Ukraine, pure and simple. Like, I don't know why that language doesn't seem to resonate with some of the folks allegedly on my side of the aisle, but yeah, and I mean, they're basically just leveling shit. They're going full Chechnya. Okay, Zoborona. Tomorrow the number will be 34K, but Putin seems ready to invest more and rationalize the big senseless war crime in Ukraine. So 33,800 dead by their count. There's a variant in there, but they're holding their rounding, I'm guessing. 216 aircraft, 181 helicopters, 130 cruise missiles. These are the ones they dropped and did or didn't go off, I suppose. 1,477 tanks. I don't know if these are, maybe they blew up the stations. Maybe that's what they're referring to. 14 boats and cutters, including the Moskva and the most recent, the tugboat in the Black Sea that was delivering arms to Snake Island. 749 artillery systems. Watch for this number to climb over the next 6 weeks. Over 2,527 other vehicles, 3,588 armored personnel vehicles, and largely the people in them, which is a huge part of this number. Holy shit. 601 UAVs, 238 MLRSs. These are the big scary ones that just rain bombs on civilian areas and military outposts, and then the anti-aircraft warfare systems, which aren't getting a lot of use because there's not a lot of Ukrainian planes in the air, and even when they are, they're pre-fronted by UAVs that draw the fire of these things and confuse them. That's the other thing too, is that one of the things I was kind of looking for in, like, if you wanted to do a Top Gun 3, one of them will be the coordination between a live pilot and a drone flying together. The idea is that the drones will take the fire and draw attention by flying closer and in a more dangerous proximity to throw off the radar on the anti-aircraft systems, and then the actual planes will come in and hit things, which is sort of equivalent to how they hit the Moskva ultimately. The Moskva has this, like a lot of these kind of ships, has this defensive explosive, like shelling on it, just like the tanks do. They have this kind of like, it detects incoming or around it, and it fires these kind of, bomb fragments that fly out from it that set off the bomb away from the hull. And it was apparently fooled by the drones flying around. Good morning, everybody. Hi. Wasn't that the Green Lantern beginning? Yeah, not too far from it. That's exactly right. Russians are Catholic, aren't they? They should get St. Patrick to drive the snakes off the island. Well, I mean, they've got their own Orthodox, I think it's Greek Orthodox, their own little divergent thing. One can't help but see the drastic increase in the intensity of Ukrainian strikes undermining key Russian military infrastructure in occupied Donbass, railways, headquarters, munition depots, etc. In other words, Western-provided long-range artillery is working. Yeah, and the bulk of it hasn't even arrived yet. It's absurd. Like, they just blew up a huge ammo, like munitions dump in, how am I going to say, it was near Kherson. Well, let's see if I can find the... Let's see if I can find the... This dude, let's see. Whoa, that's interesting. Check this out. So, the Ukrainian special forces showed how munitions for famous drone bombing videos are prepared. Here you see the Bulgarian Arcus-made VOG 17mm, 30mm hand grenades, and Soviet RKG-3 AT grenades are being adapted to be dropped from a drone. 2 tanks. They're using a 3D printer. Did you see that? What was written on the side of the thing? Back that up. He puts this little cap. Hello, motherfucker. Written on the side of it. Jesus. This is how, I mean, they take these, what are civilian drones, like farm drones that are meant to drop seed or pesticides or fertilizer pods and all kinds of stuff, like for, the new wave of digital farming that is coming. By the way, those big, like, Chinese displays of swarming drones making images in the sky. The old story is that the Chinese created black powder for fireworks, and it was the Brits who turned it into a weapon. There's a very similar thing that's happening, not just like Israel's doing it. It's all over the Middle East. The Russians are even doing it to some degree, but the Ukrainians are really doing it well, which is flooding an area with drones. Not quite to the level where they'll create these big images in the sky, but we're getting to that point where you're going to see like a sea of these little pocket drones just, and I mean, the noise itself is frightening. Anti-tank guided missile from a 10th Mounted Assault Brigade of Ukraine hitting Russian T-64 BV in the rear. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, so if you'll notice, how the explosions come off from all sides? They do have these, the defensive systems on these tanks when there's because these things explode over the top. They shoot out these shells. Is that making a lot of noise? Sorry. They make a lot of, they basically combust in front of the blast to absorb it. Sorry, I turned off the music. Sorry. That was a mistake, but sorry. I try. Or I'll unplug my headphone thing so that if it blasts again, I'll hear it. This is the other thing too, is that most of what you're seeing is like they'll hide in the wooded areas along this stuff. The problem is that these drones have been tracking them for days, so they know, and they can see the tracks. You can see, like some of these shots that they have after the hits, you can see the tank tread moves where they were moving them into position and trying to hide them in the woods. It's just gnarly. Air assault troops annihilating a Russian BFM, A1 infantry fighting vehicle in the east. This is all relatively close stuff. They're not even showing. Oh, good Lord. They're not even showing you the stuff that's happening from long range stuff, because that's happening in territory that they can't film per se yet. Australian personnel carriers flown in and repainted. They've sent Australia sent them 14 of them. These, I mean, this is also a massive part of like modern media military strategy these days. Is it's I mean, we used to see, if you look at like old let's see, pamphlets, let's see, let's see if I can find some of this. Yeah, so like, you know, this is how far it's come. This is a leaflet drop. The psychological warfare branch dropped leaflets in these areas, like, you know, give up, we don't want to kill you. They're telling you a story, blah, blah, blah. And it's not surprising that either side does this in a war, but this is how we had to resort to it in, you know, in World War II in particular. Yeah, this is the, let's see if I can bring this one. Okay. This is the dude selling them. These are old captured ones. Hold on. Yeah. Trying to find the ones. Leaflet stock photo. Yeah, these are the guys literally just dropping these things, just barraging these areas with leaflets, just to demoralize the enemy or to tell them they're being, you know, sold a bill of goods, all that kind of stuff. But look how far it's come. I mean, they're literally crafting these, like, you can look at the graphics and that kind of stuff these days. It's just, pizza coupons. That's how the Cold War was run, right? It's just all Domino's ads. 30 minutes or less. Motherfucker. Drop leaflets on those that only watch Fox News. I mean, you could argue that that's what Dinesh's movie and all that shit is just a leaflet drop on, you know, on friendlies. Burnt and bent Russian NSVT undergoing the process of resurrection in a Ukrainian workshop. The machine gun was put into diesel to ease disassembling. Then it was straightened out and cleaned of rust via electrolysis. Wow. All right. Wow. Yeah, these are the guys parked, and then this is a couple minutes later. Mortar fire from Ukraine. Yeah, this is just, I mean, this is constant. This is every day. Can you imagine, like, in your life, in this day and age, hiding behind a fucking branch, laying in the dirt, waiting for clearance, waiting for this thing right here to get close enough where you could fire on it. It's on, that one's on fire right now. Look at it. They'd already fired on it. They didn't start filming until they hit it. A Russian T-72B was captured somewhere in the south, being towed by Ukrainian forces, presumably for repair. Somebody's got to do it, I suppose. We received HD footage of Vasily Beck. That's the ship. That's the boat. I mean, this is the tug being struck by 2 Ukrainian Harpoon ASMs. This is it. Boom. That's the tugboat that was bringing stuff to the island. Captured a Russian B. Like, this is just on and on and on. There's a bunch of these that just, that's all they do is just track the stuff that you'll see there. The weird part was, I think, let's see. Russia warned NATO Lithuania that unless the transit of goods to Russia's Kaliningrad enclave on the Baltic Sea was swiftly restored, then Moscow would take undisclosed measures to defend its national interests. Yeah, we will think of something. Better watch yourself. I want our beautiful city, but we persevere, we'll stand. Yes, Bakhmut. Oui. Babushka Z, a Ukrainian woman who became a propaganda icon in Russia. She had absolutely no idea. Huh. Yeah, there you go. Woof. Yeah, and von der Leyen, the EU president, came to I mean, they're basically going to be a member of the European Union. It's cool. By the way, hi, chat room. Should we bring you up and say hi? Hi, chat. She was a meme and didn't know it. That's right. Maybe the CIA should get involved. Putin could have an Epstein. Oh, easy. Hi. Hey, how are you? Hello, everybody. Good morning. Is it? Is the like too close? I don't know. That's so weird. Trump's lawyer have left him again. Oh, did he lose some more? That'll be worth looking at. Let's see, news. Trump lawyer asked for pardon in an email. Oh, that's about Eastman. Hold on. Even one of the Capitol rioters down from Mike Pence. There's a lot of stories about. I don't know if they've quit, but there's a bunch of these articles that say that they got too many cases to cover. These people don't think they're gonna get paid, do they? Wait. Yes, Hal. Is Kelly done at Newsmax? No, they moved him at 10 o'clock, and they gave Greta Van Susteren his, they gave Greta Van Susteren his spot, and she egged it on her first night. It was terrible, but it's hilarious. I mean, let's see. Yeah, this, I mean, they don't even mention him in this article. This is from the Daily Beast. This is when this happened. Newsmax hires Greta Van Susteren, bumps Sean Spicer amid shakeup. The network confirmed that Spicer was getting bumped from his longtime 6 p.m. slot and said additional changes could be on the way. Right-wing cable network made it official on Tuesday when it announced that former Fox News anchor Greta Van Susteren will join the channel and lead the network's weeknight lineup on her own show. While the network's press release didn't say what time slot Van Susteren's program will occupy, multiple sources familiar with the situation told the Daily Beast that the veteran journalist will take over Sean Spicer's 6 p.m. Eastern time spot amid a shakeup of the weekly programming slate. The Record with Greta Van Susteren will replace Spicer and Company. which will be moved to another time slot to be announced at a later date. It's a well-oiled machine. Newsmax that had been oiled with sand and peanut butter. Newsmax may make some adjustments in timing of other shows, and we will announce those changes at a later date. We hired her. We don't know where to put her. We put her there, and we just like, but guys, we'll tell you later. Like the people are pretending this is a real network. Come on. Not everyone, but a few shows. Another staffer said, nothing new there. Networks do it all the time. Trying to see if new time slots will increase ratings on a few shows, hopefully. Let's see. Brought 2 longtime Fox producers to his show, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, it's great for the network, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they don't even mention Greg Kelly in his thing. I'm doing good, Dale. How you guys doing? You all right? I got my hair is fully down today. Now you can see why I'm having to keep it back in a ponytail more and more often, because I look like a young Alice Cooper. That's all right. I'll do it. I can deal with that. I could do that biopic, maybe. Yeah. How you doing? I'm doing good. Why did Greta leave Fox? Lack of interest in her there, I'm guessing. Also, for the record, let's see. This is another massive dick move from the news and Daily Beast. This may be the COVID variant scientists are dreading. Evasive action. A brand new subvariant is starting to surge, and there are signs this one could dodge our immunity. Yeah, but remember what I told you about paragraph 3/5/7, depending on the thing? Okay. A pair of new subvariants of the dominant Omicron variant, BA4 and BA5, appear to be driving the uptick in cases in the UK. Worryingly, these subvariants seem to partially dodge antibodies. Jesus Christ. Man, like, fucking put stacking 45s on a toothpick. From past infection or vaccination, making them more transmissible than other forms of SARS-CoV-2. You mean like the rest of Omicron? There are also some suggestions that the new subvariants have evolved to target the lungs, unlike Omicron, which usually results in less dangerous infection of the upper respiratory tract, sore throat instead of lungs. But there's good news amid the bad. While cases are going up in UK, hospitalizations and deaths are increasing more slowly and even declining so far. Increasing more slowly or even declining. That would be a decline. This could mean higher transmissible variants BA4, BA5 are in play, and these variants are much less severe. Edwin Michael, an epidemiologist at the Center for Global Health Infectious Disease Research at the University of South Florida, told the Daily Beast the trends could change, of course, but the decrease in deaths is an encouraging sign that 31 months into the pandemic, all that immunity we built up at the cost of 500 million infections and tens of billions of dollars worth of vaccines is still mostly holding. It's holding equal to. I mean, it's such a dick move. Just trying to scare the shit out of everybody. Listen to what I just read you, and then look at this title again. I mean, honestly, what assholes. And then, of course, for all the my Nazis, but my NATO expansions, but the Ukraine, the NATO Western coup taking over my Nazis, my demilitarizing, my denazification. Apparently, according to the former RT head, the wonderful lady who brought you shows like Lee Camp and Chris Hedges until they didn't anymore, Russia's flagship economic event, which I'm either calling Spy F, which I think is appropriate, or Speef or Spleef, depending on how you want to look at it. Which ended over the weekend. You didn't even know it started? You weren't alone. Served as another reflection of the country's shifting place to the world after Russia invaded Ukraine and was largely shunned by the international community. Western investors who had turned up at the event, dubbed the Russian Davos, adorable, in droves during previous years were conspicuously absent. Likewise, there would be no foreign moderator. This year's SPIF was was moderated by Margarita Simonyan. Margarita Simonyan, by the way, is the former head. She's on. You see her on 60 Minutes and all that kind of stuff. Let's see if they show a picture of her. They should. Why wouldn't you show? Why wouldn't you show a picture of the woman? Where is she? Where'd she go? That's not her. That's definitely not her walking to school. And that's from February 22nd. Anyways, you'll recognize her. She's the woman who's on the Russian 60 Minutes all the time, ratcheting up violent talk and the like. And this was no different, this visit. Oh, yes. It was a lot of fun. But apparently, she's spoken to, she's been hanging out with Vladimir Putin. All's well. He's got big plans. Fresh from the event, Simonyan appeared on Sunday evening with Vladimir Soloyev, that dude who does the 60 Minutes show, who's always wearing the Mao collar stuff, and like he's wearing Nehru jackets and looks like he's the eighth Beatle. Gushing about her recent meetings with Putin and spouting a new fabulous tale about what Russia is supposedly doing in Ukraine, the host of the program, Vladimir Soloyev, asked Simonyan for details of her meeting with the Russian authoritarian. Before and after the forum, she grinned and coyly retorted, "Of course, I can't tell you about it publicly. I'll later whisper it into your ear." Not creepy at all. Okay? Very sexy. By the way, Vladimir, just in case you want to know what, I mean, come on, people. Who wouldn't want to whisper in this guy's ear? Hold on. We go here, and then we look in at this dude, this guy, this fella, this guy who's on all these shows, this business. What? What do you mean I look like a shaved Steven Seagal? Quit it. I'm making all quick faces. Yeah, it's him. Yeah. This is him hanging out. And she's going to whisper the secret talk she had with Putin in his ear later. Okay. Yeah, in the best tradition of Soviet North Korean propaganda, the head of RT started her monologue by praising Putin's great health, so he's shitting himself bloody, indefatigable stamina. Indefatigable. Let us not go to Camelot. It is a silly place. Indefatigable stamina, which of course means he needs a nap every 15 minutes. Unshakable confidence, which is her way of saying he has imposter syndrome, and cheerful disposition. So he's crying all the time and eating chunky monkey. This is how we know. She claimed that the most frequently requested questions average Russians want her to ask the Russian president were simple. Does this not sound like Trumpy bullshit? The first one was a message of implicit support, and the second one reflected the everyday citizen's urgent plea to strike the decision-making centers as soon as possible. Angrily clenching her fists, Simonyan exclaimed, "I also want to ask, why don't we strike them? Where are those red lines?" She recounted Putin's response. "I won't say which red lines they are, but they know about them. I won't name them due to military tactics. Why would we show them our cards in advance?" Meaning, like, why aren't we using a tactical nuke on Ukraine? Why aren't we just obliterating these people with Moabs nonstop? Why aren't we just killing everybody? And her argument is like, well, she goes, Simeon, he claimed one of Putin's reasons for not carrying out more intense bombings in major cities was a rather practical one. He said, would we want to turn those cities into Stalingrad? Indeed, our people are there. There are our future cities. It's obvious this is our land and our people will later have to restore it. He doesn't want to blow stuff up in Kiev and Lviv and Odessa, for example, because they need that shit. if they're going to actually use the territory for what they've been using it for years. I have to push the pram a lot. After her secretive meetings with Putin, he said, let's see, who for years promoted the idea of Russia's armed intervention in neighboring countries, emerged with a drastically different iteration of events being witnessed by the rest of the world. She outright denied that Russia is waging either a war or even a special operation in Ukraine. Instead, Simonyan alleged there was a civil war and Russia simply took the side of the Russians. That's why they attacked Kiev from Belarus. So all my NATO expansion assholes and all my denazification and the Nazis are all, there's so many Nazis and stuff. Yeah. No. Apparently there's just a civil war and the Russians are the Confederates in this situation, I guess, if you want to belabor the analogy. And the Russians have decided to side with the Confederates in the same way that the Brits did with the American Confederacy during the Civil War. The head of RT did her best to sell an implausible story laced with genocidal denial of Ukrainians as a people. This is the weird part, too. A surrendered soldier of... hold on. This is a surrendered soldier speaking on camera, of course. So obviously they're telling their truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, not just something to keep the beatings from coming in hot and heavy. A surrendered soldier of the Ukrainian armed forces was sitting down. His face is absolutely Russian. Absolutely Ruski mirror. Totally Russian. None of you could tell who he was. He's Russian. Big blue eyes, blonde hair, and beard. Maybe I'm sensitive to this as a brown-eyed brunette, but I'm guessing that if I was a Russian soldier and I was captured fighting, she would not automatically assume I was on the right side, and they'd like, shoot him. He has the wrong color eyes. I was mobilized under mandatory enlistment. We should understand not all of them are there of their own free will. Yeah. Recounting the video with a captive POW, she said he doesn't even care where to live. He has no military patriotic feelings, that he's defending his motherland. He understands perfectly well that he isn't defending any motherland, but somebody else's interests that have nothing to do with his own. He couldn't care less where he ends up living, in Donetsk, Belgorod, or his village near Kiev, where he's from. The place we tried to blow up and failed miserably. Yeah, good times. Hi, chat. Yeah, totally like Aryan Viking kind of idea. Right. Thank you. I like my eyes. There's a general thought in Hollywood these days that blue eyes are for film and brown eyes are for TV. And that hopefully that line won't be as rock solid in the future. As far as white dudes go, that's the line. That's what you get. There's like a pile on the casting person's desk. Like the understanding is that certain people don't have blue eyes, so you just gotta, if you want them in movies, you just gotta deal with it. But when it comes to white people, like you have a choice. So better to hit the where do hazels go? They go in the blue eye category. Light eyes, it's really light eyes. It's hazel, green, and blue, and everybody else. Don't turn your brown eyes blue, right? Don't turn your brown eyes blue. Hal, any response for Dinesh D'Souza? Oh, by the way, yeah. So not really. Let me show you guys what. So if you don't know, I obviously, people have been posting my response to, 2,000 Mules. Let me scroll down. It's find this dickhead. There he is. So H2OGods.303, bless you. Another candid critique of 2000 Mules by HAL SPARKS. If you need a good laugh and a bit of knowledge, it's definitely worth the watch. Open invite to debate 2000 Mules by HAL SPARKS. If you and Deb believe in your work product, I'd be scared to. We know you saw it. He responded, she posted this, and this is my challenge video. And he goes, this seems to be one of the less convincing critiques, I think he means. Unless he just means I, as a human being, am not convincing as a general, in general, as a human. It's critiques, I think. Unless, again, I would not define myself as a critic of 2000 Mules. I have better things to do with my time. I've done a critique of it, but then I've moved on because, quite frankly, it's low-hanging fruit. It's a 2-foot net. I don't know what to tell you. It was one of the easier ones. We didn't even have to dig as deep as we do on some of the other ones because it's so obviously blatantly misleading on its face and based on flawed premises and garbled bullshit from the jump. Anyways, but I'm happy to have him on my podcast to debate it. It wouldn't be a formal debate. You mean because he wants me on his podcast so he can pre-tape it so he can edit it? No, we both live stream it. Fuck you. But we could do a lively conversation about his 3 strongest objections. And everybody was like, please make this happen. Compromise and live stream it on both of your channels. And I was like, deal. I'm like, I'm in. I was like, yeah, we'll both live stream it. I'm cool with that. I will obviously, and so my response was clear. I was like, I think some people might have popped it up here. I'll have to find it. Yeah, here you go. Let's see. I'll find it. Anyways, I was basically, the case I made was, he's like, give me your 3, biggest critiques. And I was like, here it is. This was my response. Lively, thanks. How about you come on my show? I've done your direct too many favors already. If you want to prepare, my 3 strongest objections are 1, your premise, 2, your evidence, 3, your conclusions. I'd obviously like to address your and Debbie's acting. So 4 with an honorable mention. I mean, yeah, it's never going to happen. There's no fucking way he'll let me live stream it. I just don't see. I mean, if he does, I'm for it. Let's do it. But I'm not going to go on his show so he can cut it down. Get out of here. I've seen his editing. Why the fuck would I trust it? Right? I would also want to address his methods. Yeah, exactly. 1,000 people in the chat. Good morning. Thanks for joining me on the morning show, folks. This is HAL SPARKS Mornings Mega Worldwide. It's different than the afternoon show. We have a little more freewheeling. We hang out. We discuss different topics, whatever kind of comes up. And one of the things we're discussing is the fact that I challenged Dinesh to a debate. I also, by the way, for the record, would do the same with Mike Pillow. I would absolutely debate Mike Lindell on any of his movies that he's put out, note for note, point for point. You guys know I've watched them all the way through. Sam Cedar has scared anyone off wanting to debate live on air. That's only because he snuck in a debate that it wasn't between him and somebody else. You're talking about the Crowder thing, right? When H3A3 or whatever that dude, that dickhead's argument, he was going to have a debate with Crowder, and instead of doing it himself, he brought Sam Cedar in, and Crowder was like, nope. I think that's shit. I think that's a crap way of doing things. Sorry. Oh, I'll debate Greg Kelly on any point. Please. Now, I'll debate Kudlow on inflation and monetary policy. honestly, it's not. None of this looks difficult. I got to be completely honest. I don't even know where the challenge is. You know, it would be on HAL side long in advance. I know, but you guys have seen me actually articulate my reasons. You wouldn't just do it because of my, my charming personality and my HAL Sparks, man about town attitude. You do it because you've seen me go through these things. All of these election fraud claims are utter horseshit. They're childish. I would totally debate Greg on a bus. Oh, Brenda, that would be great. I have to take a trip. This fall, I'm going to do a trip to New York, and I'm going to challenge Greg Kelly to a debate, and we'll live stream it from a bus ride down through Manhattan. Yeah. Hunter Biden has blue eyes, and he's very handsome. I know. How would make Kudlow regret all the cocaine he ever snorted and all the bourbon he's sipped. I'd love to see you debate Cenk. Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I mean, myriad of topics I'm cool with debating people on. Although, I was talking to Summer about this because I've started to get, when the Dinesh stuff comes up, then you start getting into the world of what is effectively like debate bro world on the internet, which is like its own little cliquish nonsense. I think it probably helps you gain audience, which is why a lot of them do it, but it seems like a waste of time. Apparently someone found some hunters. Yeah, they always find stuff. You mean Russia? Who cares? Yeah, this batch totally not deep fakes. You could totally trust unsourced video. I mean, I don't know what your problem is. Just read a man Coulter. Oh my God. Yeah. On the Speed movie, right. Pop quiz, hotshot. Who's the most angry man on this bus? I will say that one of the things that is a constant in a lot of me looking at the entirety of the political spectrum that's out there is the absolute. I mean, we joke about Greg Kelly being as miserable as he is, but holy shit. Like, I think the closest thing anywhere to somebody who's even like moderately emotionally either detached or stable, however you want to look at it, is Pac-Man and Sam Cedar. Everybody else is just an emotional wreck. Yes, I would be great on Bill Maher. That's why they won't have me. You'd love to see Ficus debate. Oh, I would definitely, if Dinesh was doing this, I would, we did a live stream. Oh, Ficus would make an appearance. He'd have to. The bus debates, that would be great. Yeah, let's get some funding happening. You know what? One of these days, I'm going to have a full production team. We're still growing. And this is, I'm definitely ice skating uphill against all these other dudes who've got like staffs and fucking somebody else like switching the shots, instead of me just having to do it with a button on my desk, which I'm happy to do. But it's also like, but for Can't Stop Lying blessing me with like throwing me curveball videos to react to because I don't want to react to anything I've already watched. I spend a good portion of my day just kind of scrambling the show together in between feeding my kid and doing life stuff. And sorry, I knocked something over with my foot. I'm fine. Who would be Stu? Right. I definitely need a Stu. I don't have a camera 3. I do. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have a camera 3. Let's see. Nope. I will eventually have a multi-cam version of things, if I can ever find the time. But the content is what busies me most of the time. What do I do to help me fall asleep? Well, I've had to like stop caffeine at 2 p.m. on the nose, like nothing past that, unless I've got another show of some sort that I'm doing that night or whatever. That's a big part of it. And then I just like the fact that I'm on most mornings now, 4 out of the 7 days a week I'm up in the morning to do a show. I just have to be in bed like half hour to 45 minutes before I plan on going to sleep. Yeah. Cam 3 is just chip. Yeah. I need a cat cam at some point. Yeah. Caffeine definitely can linger in the systems. You have to. Yeah. That's a good one, EO. Masturbate. Well, I got a rather crowded house this summer. Hal has summer to ground him. That's one way of putting it. Although she's got her show that's going on right now. By the way, Wednesday is media night, so expect a lot of promotion from me over the next couple of days for her show Ladylike that's happening here in Vegas at the Mosaic, and I'm doing my best to help kind of raise awareness about the show and just get used to the idea. But she's got to be there, running the show till like midnight. A lot. Chip needs a cat shelf. We do have a cat shelf. He doesn't sit on it though. He likes the floor. He's very big on the hard surfaces. Have you heard any of Crystal Ball's political views? Well, it's interesting that like she went kind of at like the idea like so progressive she's right sometimes. I used to love Crystal Ball when she was on MSNBC, and then there was this like hard turn right, and then their show got kicked off whatever network it was on the Hill, and now they're on their own. So I don't know what the balancing act there is. It seems to be a little more malleable. That's it. You know what I mean? I will check out. Their show comes up occasionally, but they don't really. I don't see them doing a lot of shorter clips. So unless I want to do a whole episode, yeah, Crystal and Sagar. I honest to God, don't pay that much attention to their stuff because they seem to be like burned Bernie bros, who are and so they've got that chip on their shoulder. And so it's like if I can't have you, no one will. As far as democracy. Ficus could be my production assistant. That's what I'm afraid of. What happened to the 5 eggs girls? Recently, the most recent Diamond and Silk update is that they have threatened to shoot anyone who tracks their garbage. Because the idea is that the World Economic Forum is going to start tracking how much waste you produce magically through your phone or something like that. And they're going to force you to do it, of course, because all suggestions are forced to people who don't understand, voluntary compliance as a concept or consent. So, yeah, so they... let's see if I... let's see. News, most recent. Hold on one second. Yeah, that's it. Diamond Silk. Threaten to shoot. That'll do it. Yeah, there it is. Here it is. This is on Raw Story. Give me a second while it loads. Yeah, Diamond and Silk threaten to shoot anyone tracking their trash. I made a joke, of course, that this means, I hope they don't mean watching their show because I'm in danger. The World Economic Forum is working on an individual carbon footprint tracker so that people can track their carbon usage, not the government, but so that you can know how much your carbon footprint is and you can do what you can to lower it. Now, everybody who actually gives a shit about this, there'll be some dumbass who downloads it and goes, what can I do to raise it? Let's try and spike it. That'll be a TikTok challenge before we're done. There are still many who try to be carbon neutral in their behavior in daily lives, either by buying carbon credits or using different efforts, but don't try and track right-wing Trump conspiracy theorist Diamond Silk, or they'll shoot you. Appearing on Newsmax, women show a video of the World Economic Forum where the tracker was discussed, saying it'll be a cold day in hell before they care about how much trash they're producing. They asked why the WEF wants to track them like they're some kind of rabid dog or robot. According to the host, anyone tracking them will get their Second Amendment rights as a response. Smartphones have been tracking users' movements for decades. Google and Bing also track users, as does Facebook. See the video below. This is so the idea. Itch of the week. Ew. That's for real? Ugh. Do I dare? Oh God, this is gonna be terrible. So hold on. I want to see what this, so this is their most recent thing. They've been on Newsmax, and then they show up on Salcedo's show to sell the thing. And I don't know if it's because Greg Kelly doesn't want to have them on. Can't imagine why. But let's see. I don't know how.
Individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
Yeah, these aren't global elitists. These are global thugs.
Yes.
Yeah, I call them their evildoers. Because why is it that you feel like your lily-made self want to track other people like we some type of rabid dog or some type of animal or something,
or a robot?
Yeah. Like what you?
Well, I would like to say for the record, tracking a robot would be easy because they've already got a chip. I mean, those robots are expensive. I want one. Don't get me wrong. I want a Boston Dynamics dog desperately. But, one, I would hate to lose it. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it should, like one of the greatest things about my watch is there's a little app. If you tap on it, it makes your phone ping so that you can find it. I would like my dog to ping if I lost my, what's the current price for a Boston Dynamics dog? Hold on. Let's see what the current price robot dog. Yeah, that's pretty expensive. I mean, that's an electric Hummer right there. That's $74,500, including shipping. That's nice. It includes shipping. For that guy, 70, yeah. Spot costs, that Boston Dynamics has been fielding questions about when its robots are going to go on sale and how much they'll cost for at least a dozen years now. It's now available for $74,500. Meanwhile, let's see. Shop B1 robot dog load 80 kilograms. This is another AI dog in real human life. Well, let's see what this guy is. Hold on one second. Unitree Go 1. And then this is the other ones. This is the one that opens the door. This one that has a nozzle on its face. And there's a multi challenge. These it's $2,700 for the Go 1. There's the Go 1 battery. And I guess it adapts on its own. Yeah, I mean, even still, I wouldn't. Jesus Christ, that's not creepy at all. Got a little handle on it. See a little, like, carrying handle, so you can just pick it up. It gets... Side follow system. They're coming. I mean, if this is $2,700 now, the way technology goes, what do you think? The standard issue is going to be $300 to $500 in a year and a half. What do you think? 2 years? you have to carry a little can for the little lug nuts that come out of him? I mean, how long before some sort of mounted defense thing is on these things? It's not a robot dog, it's a robot flightless bird. Yeah, exactly. It's more like a robot skinned cat that follows orders. Carry my water for me. I don't want to carry my bottle. I am robot human. I am humaning today. I don't know which one's more of a robot, the dog or the dude. I'm not convinced that he's real. Sorry, the ad is very noisy. I'll bring the audio down. Hey, look, it's tracking you like some kind of a robot or extended battery life. The dog or the dude. That is very, I don't know why, like I've turned the audio way down. Hold on, we'll just turn it off entirely. I will kill the... Just order me to, master, and I will destroy the bicycle beasts that are blocking us. Tell me who to kill. Tell me. We will get milk and kill. Resistance is useless. Hey, buddy. Hello. Sit. Watch the sunrise with you before we destroy the world. So, yeah. Great. Now I want a robot dog.
Why are you all sitting your Lily Maid stuff up there?
Lily Maid? I guess this is an elitist kind of thing. These are the elites. Lily Maid.
Trying to play God when you're not. Come on.
Trying to play God when you're not. I think they're just trying to play like general manager when they are, kind of. For stuff.
You're not. Yeah. And see, this is why we cannot allow them to chip away at our Second Amendment because we made.
You can't let them chip away at our Second Amendment in case, one of these things rolls up on us and we can just unload and find out that somebody just put a steel plate on it and you can't do anything about it. It's just gonna... It heals. Okay, that's crazy. All right. Anyways, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be like deep diving those things all day.
They need it still because it look like these people want to track us, globalize us, and make us into something that we are not. And
what do you mean, responsible citizens who know how much garbage you produce?
And they're pushing this mess on to the people, and the people are telling you, we don't want this. We don't want that. We don't.
Well, they haven't even had the app isn't even available yet. I mean, there's got to be, what do you think, chat? Like, how many dozens of apps do you think exist that help you track your carbon footprint at this point? It's like their whole life's been no dead air, right? They can't have it. They might, if we stop talking, people might fall under the false impression that we do some thinking, and we cannot allow that to stand.
Sitting up here trying to make decisions.
They're lily-fying or lily-whiting themselves or something. Sitting. They're definitely sitting. That is one logical conclusion or observation that you have made that actually stands up to scrutiny.
The rest of the world. Who are they? Yes. Who died and left y'all in charge? Who said you all was in charge?
Well, the democracy of the world, we create boards within our government or overseeing bodies based on what the will of the voter is, and those people go and meet collectively. And then there are also businesses that they either own or become the CEOs of, that the shareholders or the employees or even the direction of the business itself garners that there is a carbon neutral movement within them, mostly. And by the way, don't think for a second that the vast majorities of companies, much less countries, are really trying to get off fossil fuels simply for the carbon neutral climate aspects of it. As a matter of fact, the climate part, allows us to extract ourselves from the dirty world of petroleum politics more than any other thing.
Just because you done made a little money, you think you can tell the little people what to do.
Right, Donald Trump. Just because, oh, sorry. I just, when she said made a little money, he's made a little money over time. I mean, he spent it.
Come on. Well, just because you're a grasshopper, there's more ants than grasshoppers. That's right.
Oh, we're actually going to that's not even a Pixar film, Ants. There's more ants than grasshoppers. Yes, but the grasshoppers are big and they that's the analogy we're using, though.
Right. Understand that.
How many Nemos are they? There are more clownfish than sharks.
It's more of us than them. And what is keeping up with our carbon
Wait a minute. You're the one that's referring to yourself as an ant?
footprint? How is that going to help we the American people? Well, why are they worried about tracking us? Oh. What do you all have planned? Oh, that's the undercover hoopla.
That's the undercover hoopla. Which is I think an 80s breakdancing compilation from the album that I had when I was growing up.
Undercover hoopla.
Undercover hoopla.
Listen, I don't believe that the United States of America want to go into globalism.
We're globally, we all breathe the same air. What are you talking about? Globalism has nothing to do with this.
Socialism.
Neither, it doesn't have anything to do with socialism. It's the World Economic Forum.
Or communism.
All right, well. Are we just going to list off all 18th century political and economic systems that were dreamt up before credit cards?
That's right. Now, if that's what y'all want to do, go build yourself an island and do it over there.
Go build yourself an island. I see. So communists are supposed to create islands from scratch, like the communists of Dubai.
That's right. But not here. Not in America.
Well, I mean, the country's largely. What are you gonna do? Build an island in Kansas? It's landlocked. Hi, chat room. Whoops. Get out of here. Where'd you go? Get back up here. Get back there. Get back there. Hold on. I don't know why this is here. There's this weird thing, and I don't get what it is. There we go. That makes every other thing disappear on the screen. These are just two mating bugs on this thing or whatever. Let's see. Back up in here. This guy. There you go. Well, it sounds like the kind of guy who deserves a Nobel for being a nice guy. Russian editor auctions Nobel medal to raise money for Ukraine refugees. Denis Pushilin, the head of self-proclaimed DNR, says that Lukashenko's regime is already trading with Russian-occupied Mariupol. The dictator started supplying products to the city, and they are hoping to engage in the trade of steel and oil, mainly so that we can build buildings that have been flattened. Russia has now forcibly deported 300,000 Ukrainian children to its own territory in order to assimilate them. That's one way to fix your demographic problem, I suppose. By the way, they are definitely abducting people, but they're also moving a lot of Russians that they put in Donetsk and Luhansk because they can't afford to lose anybody. So this, that's cover too. Let's see. We're almost near. Yeah, we got about 15 minutes left in the show. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe, support the show in any way that you can. And if you can't, just enjoy it. Yeah. This is HAL Sparks Mornings Mega Worldwide. There's a Venmo right up by my head if you want to support the show. You can also subscribe on Twitch. Thank you, Roderick. Appreciate that. For Baps the Musical. Thank you, Deanne. I often lose debates with my 14-year-old. You rock out. Thanks for the super chat. Oh my gosh, Audrey, thank you so much for the super chat. I just saw that. Bless you. Thank you. I was my screens were acting funky right as that happened. So thank you so much, Audrey. Bless you. Thanks for supporting the show so forcefully. Bless you. And thanks. And then, by the way, folks, if you want a super chat, or if you're on Facebook, you can give stars to the show on there. You can, it's one of the ways you can support the show on there. And you can also subscribe in any of I like being on all these different outlets because if one of them shuts down or takes a shit in any particular day, I'm still on in the other ones, as we learned our valuable lesson from YouTube in 2020. But but it's also because I like you guys to just do it where you feel the most comfortable. There are definitely benefits to different ones, I'm sure, and you can make up your own mind about those things. Whichever one works for you. I will continue to be on all of them as best I can. Redeeming the hydrate. Thank you. I might dehydrate me because I have coffee this morning, but yeah. Oh God, Josh Hawley is now trending. What is this? Let's see. Josh Hawley wants Eric Greitens to drop out of the Senate race because of abuse allegations. Now do Jim Jordan. Is now selling merch of himself cheering on the mob. Of course he is. There is no bottom with these folks. Oy. United States Senator urges on traitors and cop killers. No lies detected. Yeah, did you guys see this horse shit this morning? This Eric Greitens dude. What's that? Hold on one second. Let's see. Oops, hold on one second. I'm looking at something real quick. Sorry. Let me try this. Military patch meeting. Two vehicles added: aircraft, Castle Condor, French sailplanes, Douglas C-34. Okay. Anyways, this dude's got a C-34 patch on his shoulder. This asshole, like, they're in front of some sort of house, which is supposed to have quote unquote rhinos in it. Order your rhino hunting permit today. This is the idea that I'm rhino hunting, is what he says in this ad. And he shows up with a shotgun and a gun on his hip. And these guys burst in the door of a suburban house, and they throw in a flashbang. It's fucked up. The Eric Greitens. I mean, Greitens is gross anyways. And this is not going to help. Lithuania, Russia. Oh yeah, this is still a thing. We saw this before. Prosecute Trump. This is like, we're at 58% currently. Warning about the urgent need to prosecute Trump if he survived by 24 as a constitutional democracy. Please read and retweet. Rob Reiner is not dropping this at all. I think we survive even if he doesn't get prosecuted. We just gotta, tighten the thumb screws on what qualifies as a candidate and not let anybody glide through like Trump in the future. Prosecute Trump before he declares he's not running. He ain't gonna do it. Prosecute Trump? Put yourself in Merrick Garland's shoes. No. Yeah, okay. If I was in Merrick Garland's shoes, I would be like, holy fuck, I could have been a SCOTUS, and this asshole and his compatriots violated their word and their oath to deny my spot on the Supreme Court. I'd be grinding my teeth every night about how to get this son of a bitch. The hard part would be making it not people think it was sour grapes about that because he's committed so many other crimes. This is the rhinos thing. This is this crazy friggin' ad is just like, I don't know how you look at this shit. Like, how do the people involved in this not think this is fucked up? And again, they're blazing into an empty house with the idea that I'm going rhino hunting.
No tagging limit, and it doesn't.
This whole thing.
I'm Eric Greitens, Navy SEAL, and today we're going rhino hunting. The rhino feeds on corruption and is marked by the stripes of cowardice.
By the way, Republican in name only. This asshole is talking about murdering Republicans. He's cocking a shotgun. He's not doing it with binoculars.
Join the MAGA crew. Get a rhino hunting permit. There's no bagging limit, no tagging limit, and it doesn't expire until we save our country.
Jesus Christ. Just fucking gross. Like, all right, but that's what you built, Republicans. That's your guy. That's what you made. This is what Trump enabled. This is the natural course. This is why people decry, like when they whinge about politicians who drag their feet or don't move fast enough, or that they don't speak with the incendiary language that the average person does when, they get political in their speech when they get in there. There's a reason for that, because of this kind of shit. Honest to God, this is what he talks just like me ends up getting you. Ultimately on the left, you'd end up like full Castro gallows if people went this far that direction as these guys went. But it's why you tap the brakes on how you talk about your opponents, because this is the kind of stuff it normalizes, and this is where it ratchets up to. Like, this just fucking, like, what a prick. And he has he had a sexual assault allegation specifically. Yeah. Eric Greitens just has a higher production budget than Kay Daly did. Yeah. This is her.
Rhino. I'm Kay Daly, and this is my message. I'm hunting rhinos. Care to join me?
As a Republican, you can be a rhino.
By the way, that was a sound effect and a fake muzzle blast.
Rhino.
I'm Kay Daly, and this is my message. I'm hunting rhinos. Care to join me?
As a Republican, you can be a rhino.
I'm Kay Daly.
They added the muzzle blast, like the muzzle flash after.
And
I think it's a real shot, but yeah.
this is my message. I'm hunting.
I'm shooting randomly into the woods. Pull back, and there's just a school just a block away. Oh, this is the woods behind her house. She just fired into her neighbor's yard and blew her neighbor's dog away. The fuck? And again, like, this is about Mitch McConnell. This is about Lindsey Graham. This is about the entire substructure. Yeah, there you go. Look at these dickheads. This is, Liz Cheney. Schmidt recently said Carrie Lake is a good friend and declared that after she gets elected, we're going to exterminate the rhinos.
A good friend of mine, met her many times, and yeah, I'm excited for her to pardon me for my mass crimes here in Arizona, because they're unconstitutional. So I'm excited for her to pardon me for those crimes. And
baked.
Yeah, it's going to be a great state once Carrie Lake is elected governor. We're gonna close the borders. We're gonna exterminate the rhinos, and yeah, we're gonna keep Arizona great. So excited for my great friend Carrie Lake to be the next.
Here we're going to exterminate the rhinos. Yeah. Here you go. There's Boebert. Sporting gun deal. Show me the Senate rhinos. Yeah, no, I mean, a good portion of Republicans, a majority of Republicans, support the gun reforms, however tepid there are in these. So they're not Republicans in name only. You are. You're the one out of step with the majority of Republicans in this regard. Get rid of these rhinos. Yeah, these are the ones who are working on the... yeah. Okay, yeah, go for it. Undermine whatever your like stranglehold you have on the Senate. Knock yourself out. Democrats, all you got to do is reelect the people who are already in office and put a Democrat in wherever there isn't one. You'll be fine. If you can just hold it together. If you can just try. And let's see. I'm going to go back to this screen, and then I'm going to try and open my... there it is. Open you guys again so I can see you. Hi. Yeah, they'll lose seniority. Yeah, dump everybody who's got any seniority in your state. Start from scratch. Get a bunch of MTGs in there who can't find their ass with both hands. Yeah, yes, hold on, and yeah. Stay calm and HAL on, right. Boebert's lawyer told the group they had evidence to clear the defamatory claims, and the group said straight up, go ahead and sue us, bring it. Huh. Like I said, one of the pictures of her is actually Melissa Caroni. The woman who let's see if I can find the muckrakers. Where is it? Oh. See if yeah, I don't. Oh, they didn't post the picture. Hold on. I just don't. Again, if these things are true, kind of like the Madison Cawthorn stuff, just let it come out. Let it. You know, it'll. Okay, so yeah, this is one of the pictures people were saying was Lauren Boebert, and it's actually Melissa Caroni, the woman that Giuliani brought this chick. If you'll recall. Whoops, that's weird. This woman, remember her? You even know? You even know where it was going? Huh? You son of a bitch, you? Huh? Yeah, that's her. Yeah, so that's is represented by the same. Okay. I think that's how the mistake got made, though, is that they were both on the same website, but they're. And that's how the mismatch happened. That she had blonde highlights at the time, and therefore people thought that was her. They're both on the same Explore Talent website. Let's see. Oops, hold on. Dunk. This is a let's see. This is a website called Blitz. Fear none but God, it says. Dear Lord. Democrats lie branding Lauren Boebert as a prostitute escort. Last week, American Muckrakers PAC, co-founded by Democrat and former North Carolina State Senate candidate David Wheeler, published allegations claiming that Lauren Boebert had previously worked as an escort on a sugar daddy website and underwent at least 2 abortions, one of which was related to her supposed sugar daddy work. Others say Boebert worked as a prostitute for, well, escort prostitute. I mean, it's distinction without a difference in some cases, but okay. Again, most of the criticisms I've heard of not of her doing either, but simply that she's a hypocrite about it. And so, and a voracious one. Let's see. Occupy Democrats, popular liberal ground, conceded it wasn't clear whether the allegations were accurate, but urged its nearly 400,000 Twitter followers to retweet the claims if you think that it sounds true anyways. Boebert's name trended on Twitter. The allegations were echoed by other online liberal Twitter pundits, including some current and former Democratic politicians such as Brianna Wu, Bernie Sanders' ally, and former House candidate Nina Turner, and current Kentucky Senate hopeful Charles Booker. Both of those are related to TYT. It's just probably why they did it, because Cenk did it too. Boebert tweeted about the allegations, giving them 4 Pinocchios. She's consulted with her lawyers about a potential legal case. Salacious Boebert accusations were fueled in part by the fact that American Muckrakers PAC founders backed up their outlandish claims, which weren't outlandish, I guess, their claims against another Republican congressman. They rose to some level of political fame earlier this year after releasing several lewd videos of Representative Madison Cawthorn that helped doom his re-election campaign. This time, though, the group doesn't have videos to support their allegations. Instead, they have heavily redacted text message screenshots with an anonymous party supposedly close to Boebert. In the messages, the anonymous source sketches out a tale that enters the realms of lurid liberal fan fiction. The text messages describe Boebert as a sex worker plucked from obscurity on a sugar daddy website by one of her clients, a member of the Koch family. That client, in the PAC's telling, was then introduced Boebert to Senator Ted Cruz, who urged her to run for office. At least one of the source's claims can already be disproven. In the text message log, the source provided the PAC with a picture of what's described as a picture of Boebert wearing a short white dress, sitting on a bed. It claims the photo was taken Boebert's, but the woman in the picture is actually Melissa Caroni, a supposed voter fraud witness. I guess that's nice of them to say. Cited by Rudy Giuliani, brought her to the actual hearing, according to a Daily Mail report from 2020. After the Daily Beast published this article pointing out the discrepancy, Wheeler deleted the white dress picture from his anti-Boebert website. Gotcha. There she is in her, pizza and guns. It's super. As to the abortion, of course, she did. They all do it. Plug in expert politician feathers. Ooh, baby, you should run for office, right? Well, I mean, ultimately, they're trying to gin up their representative base with certain groups, as all political parties will do, to at least give the illusion of diversity, if not diversity for real. So that doesn't surprise me at all. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not rushing in on that kind of stuff. This is, it's great. Civil War is trending. Let's see. Yeah. This is, Putin saying it's a civil war. And there's a little bit of Juneteenth stuff. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Okay. Yeah. And I put this up earlier because I was like, I'm just tired of this whole BS from the Jimmy Dore crowd and Aaron Mate and all those pricks. We're like, NATO, they promised to Gorbachev in 1990 and 89 that they weren't going to do this, even when this before German reunification, for fuck's sake. If the idea is that the West wouldn't move east at all, or NATO wouldn't, expand into the rest of Germany, get fucked. What are you talking about? Of course they would. And the USSR, whom they made the deal with, does not exist anymore. And Russia, which does exist, made a deal in 1997, the NATO-Russian Foundation Agreement, where they agreed that anybody who wants to join NATO can join, and nobody has to join NATO if they don't want to. It's up to them. They agreed on sovereignty. Meanwhile, okay, scrap denazification, scrap NATO expansion, scrap special military operation. It's now a civil war in Ukraine, and the only reason they don't nuke Kiev is that they plan to own it. That's the story I showed you earlier in terms of the of the Russian-Ukraine war. Black codes and other measures because there was no federal law in the books making slavery a crime. Happy Juneteenth. Texas independence. We urge the Texas legislature to pass bill in its next decision requiring a referendum in 2023 general election for the people of Texas to determine whether or not the state of Texas should reassert its status as an independent nation. Yeah, good luck, guys. Captain America Civil War. Just pictures from that. 17-year-old Marina Ginesta with an M1916 Spanish Mauser rifle overlooking Barcelona during the 1936 military uprising in Barcelona during the Spanish Civil War. That's, if I'm not mistaken, that's the one that George Orwell fought in and became disillusioned with the socialists he was fighting alongside, and eventually, part of his concerns, you can track his kind of fear of socialism and communism in 1984 when he wrote it. Yeah. All right. Well, that's our sort of trendage update and that kind of thing. Yeah, don't let the door hit you. Yeah, there's no way that Texas is seceding. Not going to happen. Never, won't happen. Not going to happen. And it's embarrassing to even have the conversation. And at the same time, play a Lee Greenwood song every time Trump comes on stage in Texas. When they're like, you know what? Fuck you, America. That's basically the Texas GOP right now. I'm fine, David. I don't currently have people. I have a few people, but I'm looking at new people right now. So I'll let you know when I have people that are my regular people, as opposed to irregular people. Did you see Cruz getting hammered by the kid at the book sign? Yes. I saw that little piece. Texas was a broke basket case in 1845. Well, in many ways, they're kind of like the general attitude of the state in a lot of ways is sort of a macho 16-year-old who's just found his dad's gun and is totally fixated on boobs and refuses to mature past that point. We're all the people hell needs. It's true at this point. Diamond and Soak would love to be like Frangela. Ain't happening. No, because Frangela are actually talented writers and keen thinkers. So, about Russia, what do you think they're going to do with the captured American fighters? Well, they're not going to do anything with them. They're going to. They want the Luhansk and Donetsk independent republics to kill them or deal with that part of it so that Russia can act like they're not the ones murdering these people. My guess, they'll be traded for soldiers, for POWs, after a lot of, dicking around or whatever, that kind of stuff. They're going to make an example out of them in some way. But, effectively, they would drag on the sort of the troop exchange of prisoners. They would just drag that on as long as they could, knowing that we care more about the lives of our soldiers and our citizens than they do. That's the problem with negotiating between us and them currently for any of those people, or Ukraine negotiating between them and Russia. Roy Blunt is retiring. Ooh. It's not let's see, he just announced Missouri Republicans asked Senator Blunt to withdraw support from bipartisan gun deal. Yeah, so he's probably going to back it, the red flag law, because he's retiring. Yeah, there you go. As he heads for the exit, Missouri's Roy Blunt backs compromise gun law. There you go. They all get so bold when they don't have to fight. Biden says he's considering a gasoline tax holiday. Okay, here we go. There he goes. I thought he'd fallen off of his bike and was in traction and was unable to walk What's he doing walking around on sand near people? President Joe Biden said Monday that he's considering a federal holiday on the gasoline tax, possibly saving Americans as much as 18 cents a gallon. Yes, I'm considering it, Biden told reporters after taking a walk on the beach. I hope to have a decision based on the data I'm looking for by the end of the week. The administration is increasingly looking for ways to spare Americans from higher prices at the pump, which began to climb last year and surged after Russia invaded Ukraine. Gas prices nationwide are averaging just under $5 a gallon. They started to go down, as have oil prices. Already released oil from the U.S. Strategic Reserve, increased ethanol blending for the summer, in addition to sending a letter last week to oil refiners urging them to increase their refining capacity. Yet those efforts have yet to reduce price pressures meaningfully, such that the administration is now considering a gas tax holiday. Taxes on gasoline and diesel help pay for highways. We just passed a giant infrastructure bill. So the money can come from someplace else. The Penn Wharton budget model released estimates Wednesday showing that consumers saved at the pump because of a gas tax holidays in Connecticut, Georgia, and Maryland. The majority of the savings went to consumers instead of service stations and others in the energy sector. On Sunday, in an interview on ABC's This Week, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen expressed an openness to federal gas tax holiday to give motorists some relief. Yeah. Gas price increase in each state over the past year. 26 to 34% since March of 2021. Look at this. It's almost as if some states are allowing the prices to go up in a way that they can blame the federal government. Georgia's doing okay. You notice that? Notice this kind of push towards. Why is oil and gas in Texas, if they've got so much oil and gas, why is it higher? What limits are they being pushed into? Russia's invasion of Ukraine revived global oil demand. Well, that's because supply dropped. Impact of rising. Yeah, there you go. The general this is covering the drop. To where they were losing money effectively, and so they're trying to make up for this. So it evens out about here in between the two of them, and then it'll go elsewhere. But this is the initial spike because of 5 million barrels a day being removed from the system, and now it's going back down, and it'll tweak down over time. There we go. Increases since price changes are more dramatic in regions with historically low gas prices. Well, it's because you're going by percentages, dum-dum. State mitigation. Okay, there we go. Anyways, that's the yeah. Bought a hybrid, helps big time now, indeed. In Texas, HAL, no need for answers. Why is it higher? Make sure Biden stays a villain. Exactly. Let's see. Oil. Let's check oil prices today, shall we? Let's see. At oilprice.com. There we go. Oil is at, remember oil is supposed to be at 170 to 150 to $170 a barrel. It's at 110, 114, 113, and then natural gas is at 6. And this is with Brent crude going up a full up $1, 0.89%. Here's the, Here's the 1 month. Oh, look at this. That's funny. Look at this. Look at this stack, and then, back down to May costs. We basically, as we've solved for the Russian oil shortage over time. Why is the United States still exporting fuel? Because we don't own the oil and gas. Private companies do, and they sell it on the open market. Three reasons Goldman Sachs is wrong about lithium. Our aluminum price is about to break out. Yeah, this is Russia has a lot of aluminum, and so does Ukraine. Titanium as well, I think. Lithium prices average just $16,000 in 2023. Federal mispricing has been under outside supply response well ahead of demand trend. Many analysts disagree with Goldman's bearish call. Okay, so they think it's going down. Russia is one of the world's biggest exporters of key raw materials, from crude oil and gas to wheat and aluminum, and the possible exclusion of supplies from the country due to sanctions sent traders and importers into a frenzy. But the Ukrainian crisis is only layering onto another more powerful trend, the global transition to low-carbon energy. There you go. That's what I was talking about. Like, that's the, climate is an excuse for a lot of governments not to have to be on the, tied to Russia or the Middle East for energy from now on, is a huge part of it. The energy transition is driving the next commodity super cycle with immense prospect for technology manufacturers, energy traders, and investors. Clean energy technologies require more metals than their fossil fuel-based counterparts. The prices of green metals projected to reach historical peaks for an unprecedented sustained period in a net zero emissions scenario. But few, if any, green metals have witnessed a price explosion as epic as that of lithium. After surging 500% over the last year, lithium prices have doubled again this year in one of the biggest commodity bull runs in recent history thanks to the EV boom. But Goldman Sachs is now telling lithium bulls to slow their roll. According to GS, the lithium bull run is about to reverse and go through into a deep correction thanks to the oversupply of the commodity. That is partially true, quite frankly, because we're moving away from lithium ion. And there are other batteries that are going to be coming on market in the next 5 years, and we have plenty for the demand that currently exists. Hold on, and then I want to let's see if I can before we're over time. Okay, I'm going to sign off because I could just get into another rabbit hole, and then we will be here for another hour at least. And I have an entire box of pink box. World's greatest dad donuts to polish off. This is not an ad. This is just a truth. How big oil is making record profits off of U.S. citizens. They should be fined. Watch tonight exposed ExxonMobil, 8 p.m. Eastern. I will watch it, Lisa, but I will also tell you that part of it is the fact that they went into the hole and they couldn't give their product away for almost a year, and they're trying to make up for that amount of money, and they've got to borrow money to make their bottom line most of the time, just like a lot of businesses do, the smaller oil companies that sell to the bigger ones. And those guys aren't exploring and they're not refining because they don't have the people quite yet. So again, just remember, revenue is not profit, right? Your paycheck is not 100% profit, right? We agree? We agree that the money that you take in is not just, it's all loose cash spending money. Same thing is true of companies. We'll talk more about it. I'm not letting them off the hook, but that's definitely a part of it. Okay, I will see you guys later. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And I will see you this afternoon for the 3 o'clock show. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being members, subscribers, and followers on whatever your favorite outlet is. I couldn't be happier to see you in the mornings 3 days a week and in the afternoons 5 days a week. Okay, bye.